Well, about as tough as it gets. There have been 12 races and 10 different winners. They've run third-mile bull rings, half miles, and super speedways, yet no one driver has dominated the pole position or the winner's circle. In fact, no manufacturer has dominated. Of the two drivers with repeat victories, one is in a Ford, the other a Buick. Now, the Winston Cup drivers used to find this series easy pickings. No longer. These young men have claimed this series for their own. This 20-year-old, Jeff Gordon, won Atlanta and Charlotte in a Ford.
We've really got a good team together right now, and things are going our way. And, you know, Harry, he's always running good.
That's the youngest driver talking about the oldest driver in the series. And even at 52, Harry Gant still wants more victories.
Yeah, we'd like to make it 3 if we could, if we qualify fast enough to make this race.
Don't worry about handsome Harry. He's 16th on the grid as the Busch Grand National Series makes its first appearance at Dover Downs International Speedway.
TNN Motorsports proudly presents live rain-delayed coverage of the GM Goodwrench Delco Freedom Battery 200 from Dover, Delaware. As you just heard from Steve Evans, the days of the Winston Cup drivers walking into these super speedways and waltzing out with all the money may be numbered. Consider that 9 of the first 12 qualifiers in this field are Busch Grand National Series regulars. That includes the front row and the first-time super speedway pole sitter. He's with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, Dover Downs Monster Mile is fast becoming a favorite of Todd Bodine's. On Friday, he captured his first ever speedway pole here. Last year in this race, he got his first ever Busch Grand National win. Todd, can you do it again?
Well, I'm going to try. You know, we got an awful lot of tough competitors, but this Hunger Jack car is running pretty good. You know, the last practice we had was Saturday morning, and with 500 miles in the Winston Cup cars, it's going to change the track a little bit, so we're just going to have to see where we end up being.
Well, who do you look for to be your strongest competition today?
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff's awful tough, Gordon. You know, there's 10 or 15 guys that can win this race. That's the kind of competition we have in the Busch Grand National. You know, you got 15 guys any week that can win a race.
Okay, thanks a lot, and the best of luck to you, Todd. Starting on the outside of the first row is car number 1, Jeff Gordon. Jeff has been the hottest property in Busch Grand National Racing this year with 5 speedway poles, 2 victories, and $1 million contract from Hendrick Motorsports to drive for them next year. He's going to be tough. I look for him to be a factor all day. Mike Joy?
Thanks, Glenn, and hello, everyone. Saturday, they tried valiantly to get this race in, but rain just pelted this speedway and would not let up. They held until 4:30. Finally, Les Richter of NASCAR pulled the plug and said, we'll run it Monday morning. So good morning. It's a strange thing to be saying from a racetrack, but here we've got today, unlike the rain we had Saturday, beautiful skies. It's going to be about 75 degrees here. Nice stiff breeze blowing across the racetrack. Good day for the drivers and for the fans, many of whom stayed over from Sunday's Winston Cup race to see this event on Monday. But the rain story has been overshadowed by this new-looking racetrack, new in that it has a new sealer, a new surface, and that Goodyear's brought their radial tires here to Dover for the first time. Mark Martin and Dick Trickle both crashed out of this event in practice. Neil Bonnet has more.
Mike, since we've been here, we've seen a lot of real good race cars torn up, spinning out on this racetrack. Here could be part of the problem. With this radial tire, the thing is 10 inches wide. That gives you 20 inches of front tread and 20 inches of rear. But the key to get that tread is on the front end. You lean the tire over like this, puts all 20 inches on the ground. The rear, you cannot do that. The wheel sets straight up. In turn, here's 1.5 inches out here that never touches the ground. You use this surface, this doesn't get on the ground. That's 3 inches wide. On the rear, you 17 inches of tread. When they mash the gas, they're turning these race cars around. I don't know what they can do to fix it other than bend this housing over, and that's illegal. Let's go down to Buddy Baker for more on this story.
I'm with Ray Evernham, crew chief of Jeff Gordon. In the background, you see their backup car. Everybody wants to know, what are you doing to the car to make it good now that you're not able to use the cambered rear?
Well, buddy, you know, we got spoiled when they let us use the cambered rear end. So now that they took it away from us, we've had to make a lot of changes, do some things that you wouldn't normally do to make the car give the same feel that it had with the cambered rear end. We're cocking the rear end in the car so it's not running square. We're running a much stiffer spring rate than we did, and we play a lot with the air pressure to give the car the same feel.
All right, thank you very much, and now back to Mike.
Well, thanks, buddy. Well, racing radials decambered rear ends, and a new track surface. Yes, riding on the tires. That's going to be the story of this race at Dover today. Our coverage of the GM Goodwrench Delco Freedom Battery 200 is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste, so get out of the old, get into the cold. And by AC Delco, it's like buying time. TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage here from Dover Downs, Delaware continues right after these messages. Downs, you see those nice sunny skies, a lot different from what we faced on Saturday here at Dover. Todd Bodine and Jeff Gordon sitting there on the front row and getting ready to roll for 200 miles here. And what do you think, Neil? Let's look at the starting lineup. On the pole, Todd Bodine, and right alongside Jeff Gordon driving the Ford. In the second row, Terry Labonte goes for his third Grand National career victory. Robert Presley, who won at Darlington. Tom Peck has 6 top 10 finishes here at Dover, and Kenny Wallace is the current point leader. Going 7th, Tommy Ellis with 2 second-place finishes on this track, and Jimmy Spencer's in the Dick Moroso car for the first time. Bill Elliott makes his first Busch Series start at Dover. Bobby Labonte is the defending champion. In row 6, Jeff Burton trying to turn his season around, and Chuck Bound, the 1990 champ. In the 7th row, Butch Miller with 2 victories to his credit, and Ward Burton, who got his first this year at Rockingham. Joe Nemechek trying to nail down his first career victory, and there's Harry Gant, who's already got 2 wins this season. In the 9th row, Tracy Leslie with 5 top 10 finishes, and Ricky Craven, the leading rookie on the tour. Joe Bessie, Busch Grand National North regular and winner, and there's Dale Earnhardt, who won at Daytona in this series. Richard Lassiter driving for former champ Sam Ard, and Ed Faree makes his 4th start at Dover Downs. Clifford Allison, second-generation Alabama gang driver, and Tommy Houston, the Hickory winner. Bobby Dotter, who won at Radford, Virginia, starts 25th, and Michael Urcioli makes his debut. Steve Grissom was one of the drivers that had a practice crash on Friday, did not post a qualifying time, so he will start in the scratch position. 3 pace laps and we'll go racing. Look at Chuck Bound and Jeff Burton as they roll off here. And we get set to go racing here in just a moment.
Mike, there's going to be a lot of questions here. And Buddy, you know, the guys all week long when the Busch cars were running, we fought the clouds, the rain off and on, and they didn't get very much practice. And now they're having to get their cars ready for the sunshine. They're questioning what to do.
Well, let's bring this series up to date and have a look at last week's action in our weekly running of a Haviland Update. Charlotte Motor Speedway was jam-packed for last Saturday's running of the Champion Sparkplug 200. Here getting his jam-packed into the turn 4 wall is Steve Grissom, one of 9 cautions on the day. 37 laps to go. Dick Trickle in the number 2 Pontiac has the lead. Pole sitter Jeff Gordon in the number 1 Ford wants it. They're coming up to lap Bill Parsons. Trickle gets a little bulk behind Parsons' car, and here comes Gordon. A little scrape and slide, but Gordon gets by for the lead. Last lap, Trickle trying to battle Todd Bodine on the outside. Trickle gets loose. The 2 cars collide and spin and fall from contention. Unmolested, Gordon comes across the line to take his 2nd career victory in the largest single-day Busch Series winner's payout ever. Kenny Wallace holds the point lead, but look at the 3 drivers stacked up within 6 points right behind him. Labonte, Gordon, and Nemechek. Robert Presley is 5th. Then Ward Burton, Steve Grissom, Todd Bodine, Butch Miller, and Ricky Craven, the top 10. There's a look at point leader Kenny Wallace in the Dirt Devil Pontiac of Felix Savates, who will start 6th today, and you'll be riding along with Kenny. He'll be carrying our onboard camera. So we'll show you these pictures first. Much what Kenny sees out the windshield of the car, we see it from right at the top of the center of the roof on this car, the roof cam, and our regular 360-degree tilt and pan race cam that's mounted just over Kenny's right shoulder. And you get a look at him as he competes from the right corner to the dashboard with our face cam. Getting ready to roll here. He starts alongside Tom Peck in 11 Motorsports Oldsmobile. Buddy, what do you think? A Busch Series regular or one of those Winston Cuppers to take home the cash today?
Either way, I'm going to tell you what, these guys on the front row there, either one of these kids are really talented, and I don't think the Winston Cup drivers have a thing on it.
Neil?
You know, this thing is so tough, and, you know, Gant says, if I can get qualified, I got a shot at it. Well, he's qualified, and, you know, he won the thing yesterday, and this track really comes to him. He'll be tough in this Busch. If he gets in a race, he usually wins the thing.
Yeah, Gantz used to starting back in the 30s. There he's on the left in the Yellow Mac Tools car, starting way back in the field. Today he's halfway up, so he's already halfway there. Harry Gant, who won Sunday's Budweiser 500 Winston Cup race, ran out of gas on the last lap, coasted home to a 25-second victory over Dale Earnhardt. Gant getting ready to roll here. He's right in the middle of that pack, starting on the outside. Pontiac safety car leads them around one more time. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Ward Burton brought his car to a stop out on the racetrack once the cars were pulled out there. Momentary concern here in the pits. He radioed in and told him he just didn't have his steering wheel centered. He had to stop and replace it to get it just like he liked it. Rick Wren said he does that a lot, and it worries the devil out of us.
Robert Presley came in, what was it, just a couple of weeks ago, and he had the quick release hub for his steering. Something gone wrong with it. They told him just push on the wheel and hold it on and finish this race.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't believe I want a double dose of that.
No, they told him to hold it on. I tell you what, he stopped till they fixed it. He didn't want any of that without that steering wheel hooked up, and I can't blame him. I've had him break off before.
Dover Downs, a unique track as you see them coming out of turn 4. It's exactly 1 mile around, and the turns are banked 24 degrees, but the straightaways are banked 9 degrees. Front and back stretch of equal length. We'll go racing on this big old serving bowl in a minute. One more lap. 200 miles the distance, 1 pit stop for these Busch Grand National cars. Not had much practice time here, and as we mentioned, Mark Martin and Dick Trickle both knocked the wall down during practice and are out of this race. There's Harry Gant, you see on the outside of Joe Nemechek, 87. Ricky Craven, the purple car, and then Dale Earnhardt, starting well back in the field today. Finished second in Sunday's Winston Cup race.
For the start of this race, yesterday we kept hearing the Winston Cup guys say they were going to be cautious, and they were probably more cautious than I've ever seen a starting field be. And I know these Busch guys, I heard them talking also, and they're really concerned about getting the car, the feel of the car on them, and try to make it to that first pit stop and work on it a little bit.
I'll tell you one thing. You see the start of the crowd right there. You can't believe on a Monday when everybody has to stay around here that you have this many people stay over.
Yeah, we won't show the crowd much so nobody gets recognized by their boss. Getting ready to roll here. Todd Bodine is going to get jumped by Jeff Gordon. They do get the green. Now Bodine comes up to speed, but Gordon and Robert Presley are going to have the front 2 spots as they settle down in turn 1. Not much. Here's Earnhardt, 3 wide. Look at Earnhardt.
Yeah, they said they were going to take it easy.
Yeah, on the pace lap. Remember that Sunday they ran 500 miles of Winston Cup racing on this track, so the bottom groove and the top groove pretty well worn in. Not way up there, however, and Earnhardt goes backsliding in the field.
Yeah, he tried it 3 breast in 1 and 2, and he made it, but it didn't work on the other end.
Running behind Steve Grissom, who's really moved up well after starting scratch on this field. Up front, Jeff Gordon in the Ford, Robert Presley, Todd Bodine, and Terry Labonte in the 4th spot. Second lap this time.
Todd Bodine, this is the first actual lap that he has on this motor. He lost his race motor on, they didn't even have a practice on it, so it may not be quite as good a motor as he said on the pole with.
He said that's the motor that he won Nazareth with, so it was sure good that day.
Pretty good then.
We'll see. Kenny Wallace is 5th and Jimmy Spencer 6th in the Daly's first aid car for Dick Moroso. He replaces Mike Wallace for the rest of the season there.
Seems like every one of these Busch races we cover, we see that little Ford jump out front early. The car's got a lot of strength, and Jeff Gordon seems to like to run out front. A lot of guys tend to pace himself, but he paces himself in front of the pack all the time.
He's setting the pace as they lap Michael Urcioli, the rookie driver from Staten Island, New York. There's Earnhardt and Grissom working their way up through the field, chasing Richard Lassiter. Down into turn number 1, they're running about a 1/3 of a lap behind the race leader.
And that's the first lap on that car. Grissom wiped his other car out in practice, and he never had an opportunity to run it until right now. It's the first time he's had a chance to run it.
Earnhardt will take 20th position on the inside.
Mike, there's a lot of muscle back in the pack. These guys are really nervous that they might wreck their cars trying to qualify them because so many people have wrecked, and there's a lot of muscle making its way to the front.
You know, we used to ask them, we used to Cup drivers if they learned anything running for Sunday by running 200 miles on Saturday, if it helped them. I think here's a case where definitely running 500 miles on Sunday got you in real good shape to run 200 on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Back up front, Jeff Gordon. Now with about a 3-4 car length lead on Robert Presley, Todd Bodine, and Terry Labonte. A little further back, Kenny Wallace holds the 5th spot with Bobby Labonte 6, Jimmy Spencer 7. 6 laps are complete here at Dover Downs. TNN's live coverage of the Goodwrench Delco 200 continues after this. Tommy Ellis leading this pack of cars. As we come back to you at lap 12, Jeff Gordon has the lead. There's the pass for 8th made by Bill Elliott. Budweiser Ford and Jeff Burton, TIC Financial car, coming right with him. Moving up to 8th and 9th. Dropping Ellis, who qualified 6th, to 10th.
You know, these guys learned a lot yesterday watching Winston Cup cars. They know not to try to run that outside line. You notice Ellis just fell back and let him go once he got on the outside.
So Elliott and Burton moving up. And about to challenge Jimmy Spencer. 7th place car. It's Ricky Craven crawling around the back straightaway down on the apron. Currently 10th in points and the leading rookie. There's Michael Ursiola getting 4th lap. There's Craven.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it all the way back around.
Tough break for the New England driver, who's leading the rookie points and 10th in the overall.
There's the yellow.
Caution off of that.
And here it is. Caution flag, first one of the day for Ricky Craven at lap 15 of 200. There's Jeff Gordon taking the caution. Craven making his first ever start at Dover and having a short day of it, apparently. A look from Kenny Wallace's car at the rest of the field closing up under caution. Gordon's the leader. Todd Bodine had moved into 2nd. And his pass of Robert Presley allowed Terry Labonte to follow through, and Presley's dropped now to 4th place. Bobby Labonte is now in 5th. Kenny Wallace is 6th. Jimmy Spencer 7th. Bill Elliott 8th. Jeff Burton is 9th. Tommy Ellis has 10th ahead of Tom Peck, Chuck Bound, Tracy Leslie, and Butch Miller.
Track position is so important. I don't think you see many guys come in. Some of them are really off on the chassis. They might come in and work on these things, but boy, they sure hate to give up any positioning on this racetrack with that one groove to race in.
Bobby Dotter will pit. And here's Harry Gant.
Now that doesn't surprise me, buddy, because we were just talking, he's been falling to the rear since the race started.
Yeah, I think it's more chassis adjustment than it is just tires.
Well, let's find out from Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Harry Gant brings the number 7 Mack Tools car in for service. All they did was put gas in it. They're talking about the car has been pretty loose. Is the reason Harry has not been able to move up through the field. They did not make the chassis adjustment. All they did was put gas in it. Kind of surprising. Also, Steve Grissom, who was moving up earlier, he developed a bad push in his car, so I thought that he would come in for adjustment right now.
Maybe.
Battle for 4th place. Bill Elliott's come right up to Bobby Labonte in the Slim Jim's car.
That's the best he's had his Busch car running this year. He's been in a few more events, but they haven't been able to get the performance that Jeff Gordon has out of their V6 Ford motor, and now looks like Bill's got his car working a lot better.
This race is for 3rd. Terry Labonte is 2nd. Jeff Gordon is the leader. Here comes Elliott. Oh, not that time. You can see, especially in that sunny shot up in turn 3, just how much of the racetrack has gotten a little rubber worn into it. A little more than 2 lanes wide. See, that's all virgin asphalt sealer up at the top.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The bottom's where you got to stay, though. Every time you see a car go to the outside, he loses ground.
Ricky Craven crawling around the bottom once again.
That other part up there is just a little bit of a cushion. If you get in trouble, you might get the car back. You go past that black strip and you're going to hit the fence somewhere in that corner.
Let's leave the battle for 3rd and pick up 9th place, where Chuck Bound, Jimmy Spencer, Tracy Leslie, Dale Earnhardt, and Tom Peck are going at it. Craven's gone to pit road. 9th place at stake here. Jeff Burton just ahead in 8th.
You know, Terry Labonte's moved all the way up into 2nd, and Earnhardt, he seems to be just kind of in the group there. He don't seem to be fast enough to make any passes at all at this moment.
Spencer there in that 20 car the last time off turn 4, he almost got into the fence coming off the corner. He's running real high there. Just about got in the wall. This time he got a lot better line off there. Now, see, there's somebody like Earnhardt looking at that outside line. He wanted to pull out there, try him on the outside, but he just knows you just can't do it on the outside of this racetrack right now. Takes a look out there again.
Kenny Wallace has climbed right back up on Steve Grissom. They continue to run on the lead lap behind the pack of cars that we were just seeing. We asked Kenny Wallace about how competitive this Busch Series is this year.
There's all different types of racers in it. Whether it be midget racers, you know, regular ASA racers or road racers, they all come through the Busch Series. And it seems to be, you know, the Busch Series is getting a little bit older. And I think you're just finding it getting more seasoned. And it's one of the things you got to do to get Winston Cup.
37 laps complete, and this man, Jeff Gordon, has been making kind of a shambles of the field. The reason? Been a great battle behind him for 2nd place. Just been decided momentarily, at least, in favor of Todd Bodine. He and Terry Labonte have shuffled it back and forth, so moved Bodine up into 2nd. Then Robert Presley in 4th. Bobby Labonte in the 5th spot. Bill Elliott sitting right there in 6th. Ellis, Burton, and then Jimmy Spencer, who has his hands full of traffic as well. Jeff Gordon looks like he's tied to a string, but then again, we saw that at Nazareth.
You know, he's living up to what you see in any division of racing. If a guy starts winning, they keep winning. And he's got the momentum on his side now.
Here is Jimmy Spencer battling Dale Earnhardt. This is in the top 10. Tom Peck right with them.
You know, here's Spencer here, the Winston Cup team with Travis Carter after the World 600, Coca-Cola 600. That was their, they shut the shop down for a while. And Spencer's going to be driving this car for Moroso now in the Busch Series. They got high hopes of winning some races.
Good struggle going on here.
You're right about one thing. It'll be a struggle. Those two guys right there are two of the hardest racers in the field.
This race is for 11th position, and Earnhardt takes it away.
Welcome to my quarter panel.
Hello and goodbye, right? Wondering about Harry Gant. He's about to be lapped. Not having the best of days. After he took it all to the bank yesterday, and there's Earnhardt moving up and about to come up on the top 10 cars. There's Gant running with Joe Bessie, the main driver, and Joe Nemechek. And not too far behind them is going to be Jeff Gordon. About half a lap or so. I say about to be lapped. I confuse him with Richard Lassiter's car, who is about to be lapped.
Yeah, the yellow car Lassiter, I thought that was Gant too, because Gant had been falling back, but since that caution, he's been able to move up. Here he is getting under Nemechek. Got by Joe Nemechek and moving in on Lassiter, so he might have, you know, they didn't do any adjustments on the car. Harry told me before the race, he said, all day yesterday, I never could get my car loose. It pushed and pushed. Track got tighter and tighter. He said, I'm going to start loose today.
Terry Labonte scoots up the racetrack. Younger brother puts him down a spot, opens the door. Bill Elliott, Jeff Burton follow through. Labonte started 3rd.
You know, I think I seen a little bit of smoke come out of the left tailpipe of Labonte's car when he's right in the middle of the corner.
Keep an eye on that. That's Terry Labonte's car.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep forgetting there's two of them. Little brother passes you like that, he'll call you on the telephone and remind you on Monday or Tuesday or whatever.
Terry Labonte drops to 7th. We're watching this race for 4th.
Did you see the smoke then?
Got some more smoke out of the 94 car for Labonte.
4th place battle up and out of turn 2. And they've put some distance on Terry Labonte. Look at Robert Presley. He's running. up in the front 3 positions, post him in 3rd place, and go to Glenn Jarrett.
Ricky Pearson, we're seeing some smoke come from the car, and we have seen NASCAR conferring with you. What's the problem?
I'm not really sure, Glenn. Things still running awful well. Maybe transmission overfull or, something like that. But it seems to quit last 3 or 4 laps, so maybe we'll be okay.
Okay, they're just keeping a watchful eye on it here. NASCAR is just watching him. They have not said that they will bring the car in unless they can identify that it is dropping fluid on the track.
Yeah, when the car's running well, you go, smoke? What smoke?
Yeah, he said it's quit.
Yep.
We watched him pretty well all the way around the racetrack. We couldn't see any smoke out of it. And it could be an overfill, either the engine or the transmission, like he's talking about. It'll dump it out, and that's it. It'll quit smoking.
So Presley running in 3rd behind Gordon and Todd Bodine. There's Harry Gant, and Gant is flying. We said he was about half a lap down and drifting back. No, he's gone past these 2 cars, Clifford Allison in the 9 and Joe Bessie in the 64. And Gant is moving right up and along smartly here.
He's having to, because he wasn't about to get lapped a while ago, but Jeff Gordon is running so fast, he's going to lap these guys that are in front of him. And Gant's got a good bit of distance on him, but car of Joe Gordon is still closing on him.
Gant's up to 14. Here's the race for 4th place again. Bill Elliott, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Burton. Running well right in that pack. Craven back on the track. They're about to lap him. Take a minute to tell you that these Busch Grand National drivers are going to compete in a charity softball game against the IMSA Road Racers. They're all at Watkins Glen, New York, June 25th. That's 2 days before the Busch Grand National race at Watkins Glen. Trouble in the back straightaway. That's Joe Bessie's car has let go. Caution flag comes out as the AC Delco Pontiac posts down to the track apron, and that thing went in a big way.
That motor looked like the only thing you could use on it was fan blade after that deal.
That may well be. Joe Bessie from Scarborough, Maine has won on the Busch North Circuit. And rolls to pit road as caution comes out for the 2nd time today. That softball game will be in Elmira, New York, June 25th to benefit the American Red Cross. Busch Grand National drivers had planned to practice here. They'll practice again at Myrtle Beach and go against the road racers.
Mike, I went out in the infield the other day after Busch practice closed down, and they're out there practicing to 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night, so they get pretty serious with it.
Should be a fun event. If you're up in the area for the Glen race, hope you'll catch that. Here's another look at what happened to Joe Bessie's car.
Yeah, that one, they say they go up in smoke, that went up double smoke. There's nothing left there.
He was running 15th at the time, had a good run going. The Auto Palace AC Delco car.
Neil, he's sitting there going, don't lock up, don't lock up. Let me get the clutch in.
Yeah, I tell you, he did a good job, especially one thing, thinking about the other drivers too, when he got down at the end of the straightaway, pulled down on the flat part of the racetrack and not really oil down the racing surface.
In the pit lane, Bobby Labonte and Robert Presley on this first lap of caution at lap 53. There you see service being completed and 2 tires for each car.
I'm sure they're checking Presley's car over, and it must be just a small oil leak, maybe a valve cover leak or something like that.
But you were saying tire wear in yesterday's race was kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, it was. A lot of they rather have track position. You know, last year with the wide flat tire, you had to change tires because they were so much faster. But
53 laps complete. We're under the caution flag. We'll be back. Goodwrench Delco 200 is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. We're under caution here at lap 55, and after pit stops, here's how they run. Bill Elliott, Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and Chuck Bound. Then Harry Gant, Jeff Burton, Tommy Ellis, Tom Peck, and Tracy Leslie. 2 cars are being penalized for pitting too soon. On the 2nd time around after caution, pit road would normally be open, but this time it wasn't. Glenn?
Well, Mike, one of the most surprised people in that whole incident was Bill Davis, owner of Jeff Gordon's car number 1. He turned around and looked at me like, what happened? Did we screw up? But as it turns out, those 2 cars came down pit road too soon.
Scared us to death. But no, we're fine. The car's real good, handling great, driving good. The 11 and the 34 beat us on the pit stop, which is a real bad deal for us, but we'll be all right.
Well, it looks like, though, the way the car handles on the racetrack, that shouldn't be any problem for Jeff to overcome.
Well, it shouldn't be. If this set of tires are as good as the ones we had on it when we started the race, we'll be just fine. We just hate to get beat on pit road. That kills us.
Well, I have an idea that Jeff Gordon will make up for that.
He'll take the restart third, Glenn. The two cars that were penalized were Bobby Labonte and Robert Presley. The pit road had been indicated closed because of oil in the pit lane. The drivers made the run down pit road and were penalized. They'll have to restart at the tail end of the field, though on the lead lap. That hood up is the 5 car of Richard Lassiter. Steve Grissom having trouble on the left front, also a lengthy pit stop. And Bobby Labonte does not want to go to the rear. He pitted first, came back out, and he believes is in the lead. The scoreboard shows him to be in the lead. But NASCAR is saying, you go to the back.
How would you like to tell Bob, I got to take your car to the rear? I don't think I'd want to talk to his father at all.
Terry Labonte has just completed his pit stop. And Steve Grissom is still on pit road. Now, Bobby Labonte is coming to the pit lane in obedience of the black flag from NASCAR. 1 lap to go, and we'll go racing. Here's Glenn.
Well, I'm in Bobby Labonte's pit right now, and I'm kind of standing back away from everybody because they're not real happy about things. They do have to bring Bobby in for the penalty. Bob Labonte, his father, the crew chief, is standing there with the wrench to make a chassis adjustment, so they're going to take advantage of this. They're topping the car off with fuel, and they are making a chassis adjustment. Nobody would talk to me, and I really don't think I wanted to hear what they had to say anyway, Mike.
Good point, Glenn. Bobby Labonte, normally on 1 lap after the caution flag comes out, pit road is open. But Joe Bessie, whose engine blew, came down onto the pit lane, dumped a bunch of oil, so NASCAR closed the pit road. Now, they do have a flag man, usually down at the end of pit road toward turn number 4, that waves a flag with an X on it, meaning that pit road is closed. And it may be simply that Labonte and Presley didn't see the indication and came down the pit lane, but whatever happened, it was not a legal pit stop, and they go to the rear. We're watching from Kenny Wallace's car as we get set to go green.
Mike, and while this is going on, the other Labonte, Terry Labonte, pitted, and just now getting out of the pits as they're fixing to go back green, so it's going to cost him also.
He'll be more than a half a lap down as they get ready for the restart. Terry coming up to speed on the backstretch. Here's the field on the front straightaway. Tommy Houston is 1 lap down. Ricky Craven several there on the outside lane. As Bill Elliott pulls the field into turn 1. Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Earnhardt in tow. Watching from Kenny Wallace's car. He's in about 13th position. Up front, and again, Todd's car is dancing around on the restart.
Whenever restart, he can't get the car under him. I don't know what it is, getting the tires on or whatever, but it gets away from him whenever restart.
With these tires, it does get tighter as you go, and I'm sure he's got the car set up real loose, and it just gets sideways on him on restarts.
Jeff Gordon's coming, and he's going to drag Dale Earnhardt with him.
Now, you seen a while ago, Earnhardt couldn't keep up. That's how important track position is here.
Earnhardt wants the lead.
Whoop. He almost led.
How about 3 abreast coming down through here?
Here comes Todd. And he'll get the lead. What a move.
Jeff Gordon went from the lead coming off 2 back to 3rd going into the first turn again.
He'll repass Bill Elliott as Chuck Bounds slips up the racetrack a bit. And look who's there in the yellow car, Harry Gant. Oh! Gant and Bound got together.
Does that show you how important that inside line is? They're going to come down there no matter if someone's under them or not.
Jeff Burton right behind.
This is going to be something right here. We haven't seen a car pass on the outside since we've been here all weekend. Winston Cup Bar Bush, and there goes Jeff Gordon right around the outside.
Now, right.
What was it Earnhardt said after Charlotte? Somebody said, what a drive that kid put on. And he said, what a drive. He said, what a car they put under him.
You're exactly
a combination
right.
of both.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. That's the only car all week we've seen just drive around somebody on the outside. A competitive car.
60 laps complete, 140 to run here at Dover. At least one more stop for these cars. And they're pretty evenly matched, but for that little white car and for the lead that Todd Bodine has right now.
I tell you, Gordon's so much faster. Look at him close in on Todd. That's amazing how much faster he is getting into the corner.
Up front, it's Bodine. Gordon reeling him in. Earnhardt in third, Elliott fourth, Chuck Bound in fifth, Harry Gant sixth, Jeff Burton seventh, Tommy Ellis is in eighth, Tom Peck in ninth, and Tracy Leslie 10th.
This is not going to take long right here. You know, Todd Bodine was on the pole, but the way Jeff Gordon's been running, this shouldn't take long. He's going to come right back in the lead.
Leaders nose to tail. There's the third pack, and here's Bobby Labonte coming up from the back of the pack after the penalty stop. We asked Bobby Labonte how tough it is to win on this tour this year.
You know, you've got anywhere from 10 to 20 cars that can win any certain race. It's getting difficult week in and week out, and I credit that to all the drivers being real good. They're getting better at all the racetracks, not just good at one or two. They're getting better at all of them.
We're under the third caution of the day here at Dover. See Harry Gant and Dale Earnhardt on pit road. Tom Peck coming in, Jimmy Spencer, and Robert Presley. Todd Bodine, the man who brought out this caution, coming in with an unscathed race car, and that's hard to believe. Watch what happened.
He's in trouble right there. The car broke loose on him coming out of the corner. He saved it one other time, but there's no saving this car. Watch it when it comes back the other way. This is real trouble right here.
That's the very same place he lost it earlier, like you're talking about, Buddy, but he got it back, but he got it too far. Look at the traffic coming here is what's bad. He's fixing to turn it around right in front of him.
Look at Earnhardt. You talk about somebody that can avoid an accident. Watch this.
Now, how do you know to go high? How do you know that car's not going to spin right back around and come down the bank?
If I ever wreck in front of somebody, I hope it's Earnhardt.
Maybe a Dodge, yeah?
Yeah.
Get you.
Let's have another look. You'll see Jeff Gordon did not touch Todd Bodine.
I see what the deal is, though. He took the air off the spoiler there. You seen that in Charlotte on the last lap of the Winston.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon give him plenty of room down there. Car cuts back on him. And now here's the whole pack of cars coming up behind him. And when you're saying which way do you go, right when they get up here this last time, the car will just stop for a minute and you crank the car wheels back down the other way, luckily to get it out of traffic.
Glenn Jarrett.
Well, I'm in Todd Bodine's pit. Crew Chief Clyde McLeod is out cleaning up after the pit stop. Clyde, did Todd say what happened out there?
Yeah, we had just put right side tires on that last stop. And until you run a few laps, they're real treacherous. And Jeff Gordon, I think, was putting a little oil down on the rear end, too, because he said he hit a slick spot and it just went around. Don't really know.
Okay, so, but it looked like there was not any damage to the car. You came in and changed 4 tires. Are you okay now?
Yeah, they were just flat spot, no damage whatsoever.
All right, you made a chassis adjustment also.
Put a little wedge in it. That's all.
Okay, that's the story from here, Mike.
Put a little wedge in it, clean up on the inside of the car just a little bit. Get ready to go once again.
If he was throwing oil out, he was spewing it 20 foot ahead of him.
Okay. Here's the way they're running under caution at lap 68. We'll be right back to Dover. Live coverage of the GM Goodwrench Delco 200 is being brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. We've just taken the restart green. That white car to the left side of the screen is the Baby Ruth Ford. Jeff Gordon has taken off from Bill Elliott on this restart. Chuck Bound is right there in the Hubert Hensley car, the Nesty Pontiac. That white car, number 14, is Tommy Ellis, former series champion from Richmond, Virginia. And right behind Ellis, Tracy Leslie having a good run today in the Detroit Gaskets car. There is Tommy Ellis making the move on Chuck Bound. These two have traded a lot of paint over the years.
They just give a little nudge just a second ago, too.
Front straightaway. Kind of like Jeff Gordon, and then it's almost like Bill Elliott running first in class. Here's Todd Bodine after those 4 fresh tires. He's in 21st position. He stayed on the lead lap.
Got a long time to go. He can get the car back up there in contention.
I tell you, that's incredible that he spun in front of all that traffic and didn't even lose a lap. How he kept out of either wall on the back straightaway.
Back up front, there's the second place battle. Elliott, Bound, Ellis. Hello.
Hello, Chuck. Boom.
Tracy Leslie, Jeff Burton's the black car, and then Joe Nemechek. And like what we were talking at the top of the show, there's only one car in that pack. That's a Winston Cup driver, and that's Elliott.
I think Elliott's holding them up just a little bit, but it's really tough to pass here when you don't have an outside line.
I think one thing that helped on that last caution, you saw some of the guys come in, made a lot of chassis adjustments. You know, Gant's been moving back up through the field. Some of these guys that stayed out are on the older tires, so the new tires and some chassis adjustments, we might see some of these other guys coming into the picture now.
Just behind the pack we're seeing. Look at the distance Jeff Gordon has opened up already. Then there's Nemechek, Bobby Labonte, Earnhardt, and Gant coming up. Gordon leads by 3.2 seconds.
Like I tell you, some of the guys that really benefited from that last caution, the 44 car of Labonte and the 59, they were penalized before and made start in the rear of the field. That really saved them. That got them right back in the hunt. That caution put them right back in the middle of things again.
Right behind this pack, Earnhardt moving up, so is Harry Gant coming with him as these cars run for second spot. Here's a look at your Napa field standing update. Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
Tracy Leslie making a move right there.
And he gets Chuck Bound. That'll be third spot. And 9th and 10th, here come Earnhardt and Gant.
Before the race, I heard Dale tell Harry, I'm just going to follow you to the front. I think he told him right. He's following on the wrong end.
Right game plan, wrong order. Bobby Labonte's right behind them, and so is Jimmy Spencer trying to move up.
You know, I noticed Earnhardt took on left side tires instead of right sides on the last stop. Did you notice that, Neil?
Buddy, they had a note sent to us early. Earnhardt said his car was really, really loose. You know yourself with the radials, there's not anything they can do stagger, but they'll really put a lot of air pressure in that left wheel to tighten the car up. And they stuck those lefts on it, seemed to help his car quite a bit.
Yeah, he's climbing right on up through there.
He's moved past the DuPont car of Ricky Craven, who is several laps down. Tracy Leslie has slowed on the back straightaway. The car's just lost its fire, and the field is zooming past him.
Looks like the left front's flat on it, Mike. You see a lot of smoke, the front end dragging low on the ground. Yeah, he's lost the left front tire. The inner liner's even out of it, buddy. It looks like it's gone.
Yeah, I tell you, that's tough because he was running right up in the very front.
Tough break for the third place driver, Tracy Leslie. The battle goes on. Jeff Gordon has now opened up the lead on second place of 5.2 seconds. As Leslie makes his pit stop, he'll go down a lap.
Boy, he just got himself in position to run right in the front and had that problem. There's Gant coming under Nemechek. Earnhardt declared him the lap before, and Gant's going by. They're working their way to the front.
And the Texas Pete Chevy drops a notch to Earnhardt's Buick.
I think Jeff thinks he's out there by himself. Nobody in the mirror, nobody in the windshield. He's out there on a cruise.
Caution flag. "83 laps complete. And this is the fourth caution of the day.
This is one of these cautions we're all looking to see where the caution is.
So Jeff Gordon will come around and take the caution. And a pace car will pick him up at lap 84. Had a lot of different winners on this tour, 10 of them in fact. One of the things about this circuit is that it's become just so tough to win.
You know something? This really helps everybody behind Jeff Gordon. They'll adjust on these cars as they come in the pit, and that'll tighten the field up even more.
I'll tell you what, when they reach in the two box, they better get the miracle wrench.
Yeah.
Because that thing right there is running so fast, they're going to have to pull some miracles off to be able to catch him. It's shown a lot of dominance, but it's not out of the question they can get one of these cars that can race it.
Gordon has 2 wins, but for the car breaking in Nazareth would have 3. And among those winners this season, Bobby Dotter, who's picked up 1 victory. We asked Bobby Dotter just how tough he feels it is to win on this circuit this year.
Well, it's just the cars are all, NASCAR really has done a good job of making the cars all so even that the guys that have a little more experience and a little more financing really have an advantage.
Debris in turn 4 has brought out this caution flag. Tire debris, apparently from Tracy Leslie's car. Let's go down to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, that's exactly right, Mike. I'm standing in Tracy Leslie's pit. You can see the tire. It is completely shredded. I was standing down in the first turn in Jeff Gordon's pit when he came by the lap that happened. The car really bottomed out badly. Sparks flew out from under it, so the air went out of the tire all at once. This caused a problem. It just shredded all the way down the backstretch. There was a lot of debris out there. That's about as torn up as I've ever seen a tire. Tough break for Tracy because he was running awfully well at the time. Mike?
He is now a lap down, as are Steve Grissom and Tommy Houston.
But he must have ran over a piece of trash. Very seldom do you see that inner tire go down, and he had the outer and the inner blown out.
That is unusual for a left side to go like that.
So Leslie is a lap down. Terry Labonte has picked up the lead after pit stops. Jeff Gordon, who had a runaway 6-second lead on the field, got all boxed into the pits and is not even in the top 10 after his stop. We're showing Richard Lassiter in second place, Dale Earnhardt in third, Harry Gant in fourth, fifth Bill Elliott, sixth Chuck Bound, seventh Robert Presley, eighth Tom Peck, ninth Bobby Labonte, and 10th Tommy Ellis. Gordon's going to come back in.
I tell you, I might just be guessing on this, but we're on lap 88 right now, and they're close to where they go the rest of the way.
What do you think, Glenn Jarrett?
Yeah, he's here.
Glenn?
And Jeff Gordon brings the car back in. They're putting right side tires on it. I was up in Tracy Leslie's pit, so don't know what they did the first time by. They filled the car up with fuel again. They are working on the right rear of the car, having a little bit of problem with it, getting that tire changed. I don't know if they had a lug nut problem or what, but they're definitely got a problem on the right rear of the car there. I can't see all the way over there.
Glenn, I think that's it because they had a big breaker bar, a big ratchet out there to try to work on those lug nuts.
Exactly, similar to what we saw yesterday on Morgan Shepherd's car. Another thing to consider, guys, is we've completed now 87 laps. A lot of the teams have told me that they can go the rest of the way on fuel, so we might keep an eye on that.
Pace car getting set to come home. And Terry Labonte with the lead. Sam Ard's car, the innkeeper car of Richard Lassiter. A Pontiac running second. Earnhardt peeking out there from third place. Earnhardt wastes no time with Lassiter. Ooh, no. Earnhardt and Tommy Houston will go up the banking. Houston and Bobby Labonte get the worst of it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yellow flag. 3 cars trying to fit where only 2 would go.
Kid folks do touch, don't they?
Tracy Leslie's going to try to get his lap back from Terry Labonte, and it won't happen. Yellow is out. Caution flag is the 5th of the day. Comes at lap 89, just after we go back to green, and Labonte's car will not move.
Car really took a hit.
See him moving around in the car and moving out.
Boy, very seldom do they ever hit the wall easy around this place. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's going to sit down and think about this.
That banking's a little steep right there. Labonte is a little unhappy. 89 laps. We're under caution, and we'll be right back to Dover Down. Bobby Labonte was standing out of his car when the pack came by on the next lap of caution and expressed his displeasure at having a perfectly good race car torn up. He has now walked back to the garage area. There's his dad, Bob, speaking with him. And he is looking at a couple of cars as they go by. Here's another look.
Here there are 3 abreast going in the corner.
Okay, Lassiter hit Earnhardt and turned him into the 6th car.
Well, did Richard come down or did Dale come up? Right about there. Tommy Houston was definitely heading for the bottom, but...
Ooh, boy, Labonte really hit that thing. That was
in
at the driver's side again.
In a minute, maybe from this same angle, we'll see how Labonte got into that. Now, you don't yet see Labonte in the picture.
Here there are 3 abreast going in.
Okay, the 6th car come down on Lassiter's car and turned him into Dale.
Now, here's Labonte, just on the left side of
here.
the screen, and looks like Tommy Ellis gets right in the back of him.
Yeah, he got hit.
Hard to tell from here. There's Earnhardt T-boning Houston up the racetrack.
Well, that's a real shame, but what happened was Lasker was in the middle, and the 6th car thought he was clear, and he cut down, and that got everything started.
There goes Labonte. And Tom Peck's up in the wall there as well. We have one more angle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he got a... Boy, it's hard to tell if he got what kind of shot he got there, but I'll tell you what, when they went in there 3 abreast, there was going to be a wreck.
Neil, this is one of the hardest walls in racing right here. When he hit on that driver's side, that really knocks the fire out of him.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, when you go up the track, you just don't slow down. The track is so slippery right now that it doesn't scrub any speed off, and you just go in full bore.
So the initial contact was Earnhardt and Lassiter, then Tommy Houston cutting down. That was what turned Houston's car sideways to the field. Scott Houston, the rest of his team working on the Rosa Stores Buick. Bobby Dotter making a pit stop under this caution.
Got a lot of damage with the back of that car. Worried about the tires rubbing.
Here's a look at the top 10. Under caution here. We may get the red flag as they need to remove Bobby Labonte's car from the turn 1 banking.
That thing is so steep up there, it's hard to get a wrecker up there to get a hold of the thing without turning the wrecker over. And they're just now dragging it backwards. They might be able to get it off.
We're under caution. We'll be back to Dover Downs after this. Here at Dover in the Goodwrench Delco 200. There is the remains of Bobby Labonte's car. It's the 4th race he's failed to finish this year as he ended up into the wall, the casualty of this crash. Look right in the middle top of the screen. See the white car, not Tom Peck, but the white car, Tommy Ellis, may or may not have gotten into the back of Bobby Labonte, or Labonte might have cripped the Alliance car, Robert Presley, but whatever. Bobby's going to go for a ride here and take Tom Peck with him.
Yeah, it's hard to say what happened. So many people are slamming on the brakes trying to avoid the wreck, and you start this bumper wrecking, and it's hard to tell who caused what.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, first of all, Bobby Labonte, we're glad to see you out. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. No big deal. Just a little sore.
What happened out there?
Well, I don't know. You know, it got down there in the corner down there, and 2 cars went sideways. I'm behind the 59 car, and I'm on the brakes. I got hit from the rear and got turned sideways. And after that, it hit pretty hard. So just thankful that Slim Jim Chevrolet ran good all day. Got a little TV time. Hey, we're all right. We'll give them next week.
Well, do you know who started the incident?
No, I really don't. You know, it just everybody was bunched up right there. I don't know what it was, but somebody started spinning. 2 cars started spinning, and I seen cars behind me coming faster than they probably should have. And hey, from there it's over. You know.
Well, it's pretty hard out there, isn't it?
Well, I tell you, it is. I never hit that hard before, but we'll be sore tomorrow. We'll get them later.
Okay, glad he's laughing about it. Thanks.
Glad he's okay.
Mike Joy?
Let's have one more look at this. The black car, Earnhardt on the inside, racing 2nd place, Richard Lassiter right in the middle. Here comes Tommy Houston trying to get a lap back in the blue car.
It looked like Tommy thought he had him cleared. You know, he thought he could get down in the corner there, which they were already 2 abreast asking for trouble, you know, getting in the corner there. And then that 3 deep, it felt like he probably needed to get on down in there and get on the bottom. And boy, it just started a heck of a mess behind him.
Look at everybody down on the apron already trying to get by. Another angle from the rooftop here.
This says it all right here. See him touch right here? That started the whole incident right there.
And then he turned sideways in front of the pack.
And don't you know that car Earnhardt's is a tank? Look at Houston's car, wrapped right around the front bumper of Earnhardt, and Earnhardt just kind of shoves him away like that dozer he's got on the farm and goes on.
Yeah, he has a knack for doing the least amount of damage with his car of anybody in the accident.
It's kind of remodeled, but I don't know how it's going to hold up when they start this race. It's really critical on these cars, their aerodynamic design on them, but it looks like he had damage that bad.
Earnhardt is the leader. Jeff Gordon, who has dominated this race, is way at the back of the field.
The thing I would question more than the sheet metal damage was, did it do anything to the toe in and toe out? We saw the right front tire really scrubbed hard. It took a pretty hard lick.
Gordon is 18th. Harry Gant came flying around to the caution flag. Picked up the 2nd spot. Elliott's 3rd. Robert Presley, who was right in the middle of it, is 4th. And Jeff Burton 5th ahead of Kenny Wallace. Tracy Leslie trying to get his lap back will drop in behind Earnhardt. Here's Kenny Wallace trying to move up. He's in a top 10 spot now. Sees the field getting away just a bit down the back straightaway. Turn 3 and 4. 98 laps. And here comes Jeff Gordon on the move.
You talk about being in a traffic jam.
Here we Chuck Bound.
Oh, Chuck.
Takes a leisurely slide down the front straightaway.
Wow.
And gets clobbered by Bobby Dotter. Caution is out for the 3rd time in 12 laps.
We were just talking about what traffic Jeff Gordon was in. You could see a big pack of cars before they got all hung up.
Chuck's stuck in the mud. He's spinning the wheels trying to get out of there, but without any tread on those tires. It's not going to happen. Ricky Craven gets a lap back. I think Tracy Leslie may have as well. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Tracy Leslie's back on the lead lap.
Not only is he stuck in the mud, I think the rear end's been totally down on the ground. The frame's knocked out of the rear, not under.
The left rear hung way out past the sheet metal.
Neil, he can quit spinning that tire. That car is not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're fixing to tell him it's over right there for a while.
Bobby Dotter was kind of trailing the play coming out of turn 4 here and got the nose pretty well knocked off of his car. Look at Chuck, the 1990 Busch Series champ. Bobby Dotter, who has 1 win this season already. We'll have another look at it. Let's see how this got started.
You know, we dropped back to these cars because we saw a great big pack of cars. We picked it up right after they made contact. It looked like the car Jeff Gordon might have actually got into him coming up off the corner. And then the Bobby Dotter was hit by the 5 car. He was lifting, slowing down. That's what you get into on these big racetracks. You'll see an accident, you slow down, and the guy behind you doesn't slow down. That's what caused this accident right here. The 08 was hit from the rear also.
And you notice everybody hits the inside, they go back out, back to the inside again. It's because the straightaways are banked pretty severe here.
100 laps complete. This should be the last pit stop for Dale Earnhardt and Harry Gant. Gant's already done with his service. Chuck Bound was 11th at the time of the accident. Let's have another look here.
There was Chuck Bound down on the inside. Jeff Gordon right behind him.
Yep, Jeff.
You know, it looks almost like Chuck's got a lift like the car just ahead. Jeff Burton didn't quite get going, and Chuck might have rolled back out of the throttle because it looked like Gordon got into him, and then there went Chuck.
It's hard to tell then because we wasn't really close enough there, but something did. Gordon's car was so quick, I wouldn't think he'd be that antsy that he'd be shoving some people around. That car's capable of winning without him hitting him.
Now there's Lassiter going by.
That's about a quarter of a mile slide all the way down the front straightaway.
There's Dotter. Maybe Jeff Burton wasn't coming up high and just eased out of the throttle a little and stacked that bunch up.
Here's a shot from the end of the front straightaway looking back. We see them after they got turned around.
I'm sorry, Jimmy Spencer was the black car, not Burton. Jimmy Spencer.
And here's the 08 car just got hit by the 5 car. It looked like an earlier shot, like he got tapped in the rear and sent sailing to the inside.
There's Bill Davis. Here's Glenn.
What you're looking at here is something that you don't see very often, but showing a lot of class on Bill Davis's behalf. He came up here and apologized to Hubert Hensley, the car owner, and to Jeff Hensley, the crew chief. They are the crew and car owner of Chuck Bound. That took a lot of courage, a lot of sportsmanship. Exactly what you guys suspected happened did happen. The car in front of Chuck had to get out of the throttle a little bit, and Jeff bumped him, but Bill came up here and apologized. So everything seems to be okay from that standpoint. Just a couple of badly torn up race cars. We're going down now to check on the condition of Chuck Bound. He is out of the car. Yeah, here he is. Here's Chuck right now. Chuck, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I wish I could say the same for the Nescafé ST Pontiac.
What happened out there?
Well, we were just racing hard, and the tires were cold on a restart, not gripping that well. I broke loose coming off 4, and I caught it, and I thought I had it straightened up, but I had to come out of the throttle to catch it. And in doing so, I lost my momentum. I think Jeff Gordon got into me a little bit from behind. He didn't mean to. It was just hard racing. Just one of them deals.
Well, guys, there's 2 guys with a lot of sportsmanship, a lot of class, Chuck Bound and Bill Davis. Bad racing accident, just one of those things that happens. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. We're 102 laps into this 200-lap event. Chuck Bound's car goes up on the hook. Here's a look at the top 10 as they run under caution. And we'll be back to Dover Downs right after these messages. Delco 200 is being brought to you by Armor All. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. You're riding along with Kenny Wallace. Here are the cars out of the race. Michael Urcioli from Staten Island, New York, in his debut. Lasted but about 20 laps. Joe Bessie lost an engine. Bobby Labonte in a wreck. And most recently, Bobby Donner and Chuck Bound have crashed. They're still cleaning up the front straightaway.
Do you notice all this little scrubbing of tires there? Everybody's, as Buddy said earlier, it's hard to get these radials hooked up the first few laps. And we just heard Buddy and I both have been in the situation Chuck Bound was in. You come off the corner, you full throttle, you come off the corner, and the car starts to get out from under you. You roll out of the gas, and the guy hits you in the rear. There's nothing you can do about it.
You know, I saw that black car in front of Chuck, and if I'd known that was Jimmy Spencer, I never would have suggested that he rolled out of the throttle, because I've never seen Jimmy do that. He's always got it right on the floor. Glenn?
Mike, the other guy that was a participant in that grinding crash there was Bobby Doddard, driver of car number 08. What a terrible way to start a week.
Yeah, things haven't went exactly how we hoped, but car was running good. We were on the lead lap. Something happened with Chuck Bound up there, and I got out of the throttle, and Richard Lassiter run into the back and turned me into the inside wall.
Well, the word we got from Chuck was his car got a little loose, and as he cracked the throttle, then Jeff Gordon bumped him. Just started chain reaction, I guess.
Yeah, that must be it, because I said I saw them all turning around, and I just eased out of the throttle, and Richard must have been right on my back end, and he just got into me and turned me around.
Looks like the car's pretty well messed up, so it's going to affect you in your future races coming up now?
No, we got a car ready for next week. We just wish we could have finished this one. This is the best I've run at Dover, and, you know, we were looking for a top 10 finish possibly.
Well, I hope you have better luck this coming week.
Well, it means that Gino's Pizza Wagon will be a little late making its deliveries today for Bobby Donner, but he had a good run going there. 105 laps complete. We're just past halfway, and the junkyard is building there in the center of the infield. Going to have some battered cars to take home. We're going to talk a little bit about why that might be when we return to Dover Downs here. For a guy who was penalized to the tail end of the field not too long ago.
Yeah, he drives really hard. He's a super driver. You've seen him win at Darlington and just do a great job of driving on the last lap to beat Harry Kemp.
He's got one win this year. It came at Darlington, South Carolina. And among other drivers, we asked Robert Presley why it's so tough to win on this tour this year.
Just, I think, you know, Darlington, we wanted to prove ourselves so bad there. And we did win the race. So, you know, I think that give us an incentive we can win anywhere. A lot of the other Busch drivers know they can beat the win.
The Darlington winner, Robert Presley, currently 5th in the points. Best finish here was 2nd last fall here at Dover Downs. Pace car light is still on for one more lap, and we'll go racing. Glenn?
Well, guys, remember back earlier on when we said there was some smoke coming from Robert Presley's car? Bad news. We found out what that problem is. Ricky?
The clutch is going in the car. You know, as long as he can stay on the racetrack, he's all right, but, you know, it's kind of a problem when he comes in. He has to shut the car off. We have to push him off. But, you know, who knows what'll happen, you know.
Was he having to take off in high gear?
Yeah, he's got nothing but high gear.
Well,
disadvantage, you know.
An extreme disadvantage, particularly like this when they start so slow here. That's bad news. That car's running awfully well, but it's going to be awfully hard to maintain that lead. Mike?
Well, now, Neil, buddy, if the clutch is packed up, can't you run and shift this thing like a road race box and just match the gears and not use the clutch?
Let me tell you, it's the perfect place not to have a third gear. When you're in the lead like that, he can drop back from the pace car and get a run to the flag.
The rule book says that the leader dictates the pace of the start, so if he can just get the pace car out of his way, which Elmo, I mean, they're holding the pace car back, so if they get the pace car the way he can do, as Buddy says, start it at his own pace, which probably will be pretty quick.
Well, let's see. Pace car is stretching out the field right now. We'll see if Presley leans into the throttle. He has Jeff Burton right behind.
He'll feed it on up. He'll try to
he'll pick the pace up right now. Get her going. Decent start, I'll tell you.
We're green. Presley hauls it off down into turn 1. Ricky Craven trying to get back another lap. Due to pit stops, Jeff Burton is now 2nd and Joe Nemechek 3rd.
That certainly didn't hurt him on that start.
No. Kenny Wallace Up to 4th place now. And Clifford Allison at 5th. Watching from Kenny Wallace's 4th place machine. And the lead pack of 3 and the lap car of Ricky Craven. Boy, right behind Wallace, there's a pack. Clifford Allison, the High Point betting car. Right in there with Jimmy Spencer and Terry Labonte.
That kind of answered your question, Neil, about how Earnhardt's car is handling. He just went by Harry Gant just stretching on, so apparently he didn't hurt the front end on the car when he was in that accident a while ago.
Earnhardt coming up on the Bullets Buick of Tommy Ellis.
Boy, Gant, see, just like always, a while ago when he ran a long run, his car got better. On these restarts, he drops back. He even has problem qualifying. We joke about it all the time, but it just takes him a few laps to get her wound up, and he'll probably come on back into the picture after a while.
There's the front trio, Presley, Burton, and Nemechek. Looks like Jeff Burton's car is not quite getting into the car quite as well as Robert Presley. As we give you this Napa Field standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Front 3 staying nose to tail, trouble in 1. Ed Ferree goes up and into the turn 1 retaining wall. And we may see that he had a little help. He went into that corner side by side, racing for position, and ended up in the wall. Tom Peck moving slowly away from that area. Ferree is rolling as we go to caution, and he's narrowed up the left side of his car. The Saxonburg, Pennsylvania car dealer in the Wolf's Head Oil Buick, running 8th at the time. Let's look and see what happened.
Here they are going down in turn 1. Ward Burton down the inside just as low as he can get. Ed Ferree, they get together. Ferree knows he's got to stay as low as possible. There's Jeff Gordon.
Look at Jeff going down on the flat there to avoid getting in it.
There's Bill Elliott, got a little wrap in the rear from Bodine. He couldn't get stopped. Chain reaction deal, but Ferree's headed through the outside wall.
Now there's an example, buddy, what you were saying before. If something goes, just lock the car down.
Yeah.
Because he did. He had the brakes locked all the way to the wall.
Well, when you get that assistance from another car like that, that's not a bad thing to do, because he was going anyhow, I think.
Both he and Tom Peck will come to pit road.
I really don't know what Ward Burton could have done. He was right on the line as low as he could go.
So caution is out once again. This will be the 7th one of the day. We'll be right back. Mike Joy with Buddy Baker and Neil Bonnet. Glenn Jarrett down on pit road as Tommy Ellis makes a very long pit stop to try to cure overheating. We get ready to go back to green. Green flag waves at lap 116. Robert Presley out in front. That second black car is Jeff Burton. Bill Martocci, TIC Financial car, and there's Joe Nemechek right with him, hungry for that first Grand National win in the Texas Beach Chevrolet.
Wow, Nemechek's car is really handling well. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come up and maybe give him a run for the lead.
Boy, look at this pack going. Earnhardt with Todd Bodine. Bill Elliott is right there with him. And have a look at the left side of Todd Bodine's car. The bungee cord holding the left door on.
Exhaust, I think the exhaust pipe,
the exhaust up. That makes much more sense, Neil. Thank you.
Nemechek is running all over him. I believe he's got a little bit quicker car if he can just get around.
7 caution flags ties the record for this race set in 1987. Still a little smoke from Robert Presley's car we saw there. We have an eye on second place. You don't have to hold the door on. It's welded shut. Where'd we get that from?
They put the key in it and locked it before he took off.
Well, the bungee might be to hold Todd in it. They stay there. You can't get out.
The way things have been going, we might need a lot of bungee cords before this one's over.
Kenny Wallace from the roof cam of the Dirt Devil Pontiac. Back straight away, the enclosed grandstand there at Dover Downs, and here in the car with Kenny.
Kenny is looking at the rearview mirror because there's the 20 car.
Not out the rearview mirror anymore.
Jimmy Spencer.
And Terry Labonte going fast.
And anybody else who wants to when you move over.
Yep, Clifford Allison.
He's out in that forbidden outside lane there. He'll look like he's got the brakes on for a few seconds.
Oops.
They could just move the guardrail down about 30 feet because the rest of that wasted area anyway. I mean, you can't race on it. Save a long slide before you hit it.
Is that about the worst feeling in the world? Just watch all these guys scream right past you?
Yeah, you keep thinking one of your buddies.
Trouble.
Oh,
it is Spencer. And he goes for a long ride down the front straightaway. Jeff Gordon cannot avoid this one. Jimmy Spencer in his first ride for Dick Moroso in the Daly's first aid car. Gordon had no place to go. The track was just filled with smoke. Made his best guess, and Spencer was there. Racing back to the flag, and Ricky Craven gets another lap back. I think he's got 4 back and about 4 more to go.
Boy.
Well, the wrapper has come off that baby real far.
I'm not going to say the wall took a bite out of it. We don't do that, do we?
No, don't say that.
That's the essence of what you get out of a good pit stop. Anytime you go to the rear of the field, no matter for what, you can get caught up into this.
Yeah, you know, you heard his guys, Bill Davis and all the guys, really feeling bad by getting him out late, and it'll sooner or later it'll bite you. And I feel like it, I'm sure, buddy, you know, it looked like the car was the quickest thing on the racetrack, just a matter of time for him to get back, but now he's not going to be able to come back.
Now here's poor Jimmy Spencer. Winston Cup team shut down due to sponsorship woes. Gets into this Busch car, has a chance to make a good run. Let's see what happened to Spencer. Way on the left side of your screen. He's already bounced off the wall.
It looked like he got in the wall off forward.
Exactly. It looked like he might have been a little bit loose, and he got right rear into the wall, and then that's the end result.
Clifford Allison sure dodged him.
Look at the #1 car come in here. Nowhere to go. He's already made his move.
So he locked the brakes up on the one, but it's too late then.
Too late.
Guys behind him did a good job.
Yeah, on this next angle, I want you to watch Clifford Allison, who's immediately behind Spencer.
There's Spencer in the wall up there on the top.
Yeah. Just got out in that outside groove a little too far, and it just swept right up into the wall.
There he goes. Now here's Clifford, comes all the way from the wall to get down underneath him.
Good move.
Yep.
Hello.
Ooh. Wipe the camera off.
And it's still ticking.
On about 2 other occasions, you know, we'd said we saw Spencer almost get into the wall coming off 4, and he almost is over.
Elliott just got through there.
Is that Todd Bodine went with him right below there? It's hard to tell.
That's a fixed mount camera that got that shot right on the outside wall, and it's a good thing. I don't think I'd want to stand and aim that one.
It looks like it's almost hanging over the wall. It's a wonder it didn't get hit.
Yeah, it's right at the start-finish line. Yeah, best seat in the house until something like that happens. 122 laps complete. Len Jarrett?
Guys, you see this little lug nut here? That's the rounded lug nut that caused the problem on Jeff Gordon's car. Hard to believe something this small could result in a big crash like that. But because of them having to come back in, break that lug nut loose, which the air wrench would not take loose, put him back in the back like that, having to battle all that traffic, it caused him to get caught up in that melee. One little lug nut cost him about about $40,000 worth of damage to that car because it is completely destroyed.
Glenn, you know, the first thing you say is if the crew guys couldn't do anything about it. They just pull a normal pit stop, and those sockets are made loose purposely where they'll come out of there in a hurry. If they get worn the least bit, either the lug nut or the socket, it'll strip it like that. And boy, I tell you, they were probably going to have a normal stop, and that little lug nut there cost them the whole problem.
Yeah, exactly. There's the clearance between the nut and the socket is loose, so that when you undo that nut, you know how when you're working in your garage at home and the nut sticks in the socket, you can't afford to have that happen here. And that looseness, like you say, just rounded that corner off. They had to go back out with a regular wrench and get it. He got way in the back and ended up here, stuck in the mud. 76 laps to go as we have a look at Ward Burton, who's also won a race on the tour this year. We asked Ward why the competition is so tough and why it's so tough to win this season in Busch racing.
I don't think it's just the money. I think it's so many of the right people, whether it's the NASCAR officials, y'all, truckers, TNN. It's so much prestige, and just a great series, you know, and everybody wants to do well.
4 laps to go here at Dover Downs as Jeff Gordon's Ford is hauled back to the garage area. Glenn?
Jeff Gordon has come out of the infield care center. First of all, Jeff, that's a real shame. You had a quick car.
I tell you, you know, I mean, these guys are really putting a good car underneath me, and that's, you know, I mean, I can't say enough for the Baby Ruth crew because the car was perfect. You know, we got out front. If we got a little bit behind, we got right back up the front. We got messed up on a pit stop there, and we had to go the back, but we had such a good car, we weren't really worried about it. I was just trying to take my time picking my way up there. I saw Jimmy get high, and I asked him inside if he blew right front. He said, no, he just got high, and I saw him hit the wall. And, I mean, here at Dover, you go to the inside. And I went to the outside, and then my guy said, go to the inside. And, you know, just one of them deals. You got caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, better luck next time. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. We're getting ready to go back to racing. Here's the way the top 10 sits. 15 cars are on the lead lap. Ed Perry 1 lap down, and Steve Grissom, Tommy Houston, a lap down. And we're getting ready to race. In addition to those top 10, Harry Gantz on the lead lap. So is Kenny Wallace, Clifford Allison, Richard Lassiter. After having made pit stops, make that 14 cars on the lead lap. From the in-car camera, we'll restart this race along with Kenny Wallace as he battles Harry Gantz.
Here, get in the gas, out of the gas, back in, so I better get a little bit deeper than the gas took off.
Up front, Robert Presley with the lead. Jeff Burton, Joe Nemechek picking right up where they left off. Terry Labonte right in there with him in 4th place. Butch Miller is 5th, a ways back. Labonte's catching that pack as they dispense with lapped car Ricky Craven. A lot of jostling in mid-pack there where Tracy Leslie and Todd Bodine run, along with Bill Elliott and Harry Gantz.
Boy, Todd Bodine moved out just a little bit. Earnhardt got by. And then there comes Bill Elliott by also, so it shuffled him on back some.
That's back at 9th place, that battle. Now we're with the leaders once again.
The longer they ran a while ago, the better Nemechek's car got. Looks like he's a little bit tight, which will come to him some. He might be able to close in as we get a few laps in.
Butch Miller's just dropped from 5th to 10th in 2 laps. There's Miller's car, the Food Country car, just to the left of your view as Earnhardt moves up. There's Miller in the picture. Todd Bodine coming up with Harry Gantz to get him.
Tracy Leslie right there behind Earnhardt.
Glenn?
The action you see here is the Baby Ruth crew working feverishly on Jeff Gordon's car. Now, this thing is torn up some kind of bad, but they want to get it back out there. If he runs one more lap, he will finish ahead of the 20 car. That's 3 points. He's in 3rd place in the point standings right now. But the way things are going, some other guys might have trouble and fall out. They're going to do their best to get him back out there into action. Mike?
Thanks, Glenn. Pass for 3rd right there. Joe Nemechek, Terry Labonte going at it. A little bit further back, Harry Gantz on the move. There's your front 4. Nemechek and Labonte discussing 3rd place. Good gap back to the 5th place car, which is now Warren Burton, and here's Harry Gantz. Gantz come up into the top 10. Todd Bodine on the left, the Nazareth winner and the pole sitter here. There's ageless Harry Gantz and Bill Elliott, Butch Miller, Kenny Wallace, Clifford Allison. Pit stops under caution really jumbled up the second half of this field.
Neil, every time we do a broadcast with him, we learn something else. Discussing second.
Here's Earnhardt. He's after Warren Burton. 5th place at stake here, and Tracy Leslie, who has gotten back on the lead lap, right with them. Tom Peck has made a pit stop in the 11 Motorsports car. Hunter Green, he goes a lap down.
Right here is going at it.
Coming up on Craven in the DuPont car. Burton in 5th. Earnhardt in 6th. Leslie in 7th.
Earnhardt. Burton's car is working real well. Earnhardt's putting a lot of heat on it, but Burton's able to hold him off right now. You know, one thing we talk about these Busch guys, there were days when A. Ward Burton would look in that mirror and see that black car and be intimidated, even though it is called the Intimidator. But these guys will race him now. He knows he can race with him.
And Earnhardt has the measure of him on the low side. Now Leslie trying to follow right up through, and does. Burton caught on the high side there, and he will pedal back to 7th place. Glenn?
Well, Kenny Wallace, our in-car camera carrier today, you probably can't tell it when you're watching it, but he's having an awful time with that car. I talked to Steve Bird. Usually that car runs up front and is always in contention to win a race or finish up high. Today, just not so. The car is way, way too tight. They've done some things to try to loosen it up. They just haven't been able to get it done. The last time they practiced, the track was extremely slick, and they were doing everything they could to tighten it up. Now they got it too tight, so he's just having to ride it out.
Back straight away, Kenny Wallace. Still on the lead lap here, but out of the top 10.
Buddy, I can't get over what a smooth ride it looks like in the car camera. When we get in the car and he's bouncing around, jumping all over the place. That camera sure looks smooth.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, that camera gives you a good eye. I mean, that's just what it looks like when you're out there running, other than feeling that thing jostling you around.
One thing Kenny Wallace's in-car camera doesn't see, and that's this man, Robert Presley, the leader. Good battle, Todd Bodine and Ward Burton. This is going to be at 7th place.
Oh,
get
man, jeez. Excuse me. Ed Ferree come down in front of a bunch of cars. I overreacted there just a little bit. There was almost a major accident coming off 4.
That happened about a quarter lap behind this group. I think everybody's heart stopped for a second.
The entire grandstand stood up. There was the 3 cars coming around, and Laster might have got into, I don't know if he got in the back of it. Might have been chain reaction from.
Well, he didn't hit a bug on the windshield.
No, he hit a big one if he did.
The innkeeper Pontiac and Richard Lassiter will come to pit road. No caution. We stay under green. Former football player out of Arkansas.
Yeah, that one's going to be this one for a while.
Yep. Harry Gatt now goes to work on Ward Burton. This should be an about 8th position. If this race stays green, they've made their pit stops. They can go the distance. See how it sorts out. The fastest car in the race clearly was Jeff Gordon. He's behind the wall after a crash with Jimmy Spencer at lap 122.
There goes Harry. I mean, when the car gets under one like that, they all know just back off and fall back in on the bottom. You lose time by trying to run that outside.
Yeah, passing's not as easy as it looks there.
I tell you what, I can't help but believe, Dover was always known for 3 and 4 wide racing up around the wall. The sealer that was put on this racetrack, I don't doubt that they'll come back and reseal it with the old type to get that feel back on this racetrack.
Richard Lassiter has taken his car to the garage. Ed Ferree's car has just been pushed from the garage. Presley the leader. Jeff Burton in 2nd. Terry Labonte 3rd. Nemechek, Earnhardt. And there's Gant in 8th place. Trailing Todd Bodine.
Once he got around Ward Burton, he stretched it out.
Yep. Well, maybe passing him was as easy as it looked.
You know, well, you said something the other day. You know where the Bionic Man lives now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think some days a cut open Harry Gant find what's left of Lee Majors. Riding with Kenny Wallace, and he's getting the heat put on him. That's Tommy Houston right behind, and Clifford Allison. Clifford's done a good job today, been in the lead lap and been right in the chase.
Not only has he ran good, he's used his head on a lot of occasions and avoided some accidents, which is a big key in this type of racing.
Still not sure how he missed Jimmy Spencer. 12th and 13th place at stake.
There's Clifford getting under Tommy Houston.
Now Houston's a lap down. Clifford and The 36 car of Kenny Wallace are on the lead lap.
Clifford's pulling right up behind him. Clifford's had some damage to his car, but didn't seem to hurt it very much.
You know, it's amazing that Tommy Houston's car will run that good with the back end damage that he has around the spoil area on that car.
Watching from Kenny Wallace's car.
So there was Clifford taking a look to the inside.
That's a view we don't see much, Neil.
Yeah. He's able to gain on him right here in the middle of the corner. Looks like he could get in the gas a little bit quicker than Kenny, and Clifford's car makes a good run up off him.
That rear window looks a little wavy there. It's not glass, it's Lexan, as are the side windows on these cars. Kenny Wallace. Clifford Allison, the High Point Betting Olds, and there's Tommy Houston. A lap down, but hanging well with this pack. Just up ahead of them, Steve Grissom.
There's Earnhardt wheeling in Nemechek for 4th position. He was back about two full blocks, you know, a long way back there. He's ran him down. It's going to take a few laps to catch him again, but Earnhardt really reeled him in way back.
And Harry Gant has caught Todd Modine. There's Labonte, Nemechek, and Earnhardt chasing Robert Presley and Jeff Burton, the leaders, with 48 laps to go here at Dover, Delaware. TNN's coverage of the Goodwrench Delco 200 continues after these messages.
Doesn't look like that front end damage did anything to the way the car's handled.
Just made it look meaner.
Gave it that Earnhardt look.
Yeah. There's Labonte in 2nd place. Here are the 2 leaders. They're keeping pretty close company. Presley and Burton. Glenn?
This is Gil Martin, crew chief on Jeff Burton's car. Gil, it looks like that Jeff just keeps inching up ever so slightly. Got anything left for him?
We're running about the same time. The CIC Oldsmobile's running just about a half a tenth off of what he's running right now. It's going to come down to a battle of tires.
Does Jeff say that he thinks that he might be able to do something with it?
Yeah, right now he's just trying to pace himself and let Robert kind of lead the way. Right now we're going to try it in about the last 25 laps.
Okay, these guys won a race a couple of weeks ago, but had it taken away from them because of an illegal rear end. They'd like to prove that it was no fluke.
Yeah, as we reported, the center section of that rear end was a non-approved part. And thus Bobby Dotter got the win.
That's a part that should be approved to make these cars a little more stable on the back.
Look at this pack right in front of the race leader. That battle we were watching earlier. Kenny Wallace. Now there's a neat move by Kenny Wallace. He just got out of the throttle, let the leader go, says I'll catch back up and run those guys a bit in a minute here. That's sportsmanship.
Yeah, because when you got a racetrack that's giving us a little bit of problem like this one is, that one lane, someone like Kenny could really clog the traffic up and cause a big problem. Talk about problem.
Houston's in the wall hard. Way up there. Tommy's keeping it way up high. Now drops it down after the traffic gets passed. Caution flag.
There was a good example of a guy that has a lot of experience. When it kept jumping into the wall, he kept it up there and instead of trying to jerk it down off the wall.
If he had brought it down, Kenny Wallace would have been right there. Tommy's pretty well crumpled that up today. The left side damage came from the Dale Earnhardt Lassiter Houston wreck, and the right side damage came just now. The debris from Houston getting into the wall will bring us under caution at lap 162.
Now, do they pit? Do they stay out? Does track positioning mean as much as new tires? We'll just have to see what they do.
9th caution flag. That's a record for this race.
The pit was not open. The red flag is still out. Tommy Houston came in anyway because he's got damage.
Glenn Jarrett is in Tommy Houston's pit. Glenn.
Tommy Houston brings the number 6 Rose's car into the pits. I asked Scott Houston if his dad told him what had happened out there. He said, yeah, that Tommy was trying to get out of the way. It was being lapped by leader Robert Presley, and that Robert got into him, knocked him up into the wall. They've taken the hammer and the real big pliers out there to try to pull the fenders off the tires and just get this thing so he can finish up the race. He's pretty well used this thing up for the day.
I would say so. Let's have a look and see if That's indeed what may have happened. There's Presley right behind Houston.
Coming off the corner. Presley's going to come under him right here. I don't know. I tell you what, it looks like he moved over.
Presley didn't touch him.
Presley, I think he moved over to give him room and didn't realize Clifford was up there on the top. That's Clifford Allison right behind him, because Tommy made the move all the way from the bottom to the top. I don't know that he saw that car on the outside of him. He was moving out of the leader's way, but then him and Clifford got together up at top.
Yeah, it'd be hard to say Presley was involved in that. Let's have another look from a different angle here.
Well, he just turned across in front of Clifford.
Yep.
I mean, that's where you're being aware of the leader's coming, and you want to get over and give him room, but I don't know if he realized there was another car up there.
He didn't know he was plenty far over to let him go by.
Yeah.
If he had just held his line instead of trying to pull back against the wall.
Houston back in for more repairs, this time to the right side, and NASCAR saying push him back, that he's over the line.
Oh, isn't that something?
Now they can work on it. And Jeff Gordon is back on the racetrack. Can you believe it? After what's happened to that Ford, he's made that extra lap he needed to get the 3 points. And so that moves him up ahead of Jimmy Spencer on the running order. Now, since then, Ed Ferree and Richard Lassiter have also gone to the pit. So if Gordon can run 20 laps with what's left of this car, he'll move up 2 more spots.
Well, let's don't give up. He's a great open wheel racer. He's got him one now.
He is now. He's got everything but a wing on the roof. That thing will be a sprinter. 41 laps behind. But it shows you just how important points are and what game competitors this team is.
Neil, they didn't even change the tires on that thing, so he's not going back to full speed, I don't think. It looked like it was towed in about a foot, too.
Well, would you buy new tires for that car? Not now. 36 laps to go here at Dover, Delaware in the Goodwrench Delco Battery 200. We'll be right back. For the restart here at Dover Down. We're riding with Kenny Wallace. As the leaders line up, he has gone a lap down to the race leader, so he'll be on the outside as they get ready to restart.
There with the Busch cars, they put the fast car on the inside, which is a good measure, I think, on a silly track like this.
Robert Presley of the Alliance Tractor Training Center's Oldsmobile brings them down the front straightaway. Jeff Burton in tow, Terry Labonte, the Sunoco car. Dale Earnhardt is there, so is Joe Nemechek and Harry Gant.
You know something, Neil? I can't believe that 59 car can get off the line like he does with just high gear. That thing really hauls down through here.
I think he's fibbing about that shifter. I believe he shifted gears on us.
Harry Gant is one of those 11 cars in the lead lap. He and Clifford Allison trying to come to the front here. 33 laps to go. It's not a lot of time to get there from where they sit.
Well, they go by in a hurry on this racetrack.
Up front, Jeff Burton trying to put the pressure on Robert Presley.
We've got several pressure points being involved right here. These two guys. There's Earnhardt right behind Labonte, right behind his Nemechek. So we've got 5 leaders right there together.
And Gant just moved up to 6th, passing Clifford Allison.
That's 2 evenly matched cars right there in there, Neil.
Yeah, but just a little slip by the leader. Boy, he could go from first back to about 20th. You have to be careful.
Also on the lead lap, Bill Elliott, Tracy Leslie, Todd Bodine, Ward Burton, and Butch Miller. We're now told that Clifford Allison is being posted 1 lap down. Front 8 cars, pretty well single file now. 30 laps to go.
Look at Terry Labonte and Earnhardt moving into this frame. They're just out of the camera right here. They're coming.
Yeah, you know, we've saw Labonte's car smoke all day long. You know, it gets in the corner there, but it doesn't seem to hurt it. It's Presley leading the race, but look coming up behind them.
Let me tell you who's coming. Harry Gant.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is right on Joe Nemechek. They're the leaders just ahead. That Mack Tools Buick is now all over Nemechek. I mean, he just ran off from Clifford Allison and Bill Elliott. Gant looks to the inside. Not this time. Harry's best finish in the spring race here, second in 1990. He won the fall race back-to-back in 90 and 91. 2 Busch wins this season, Richmond and Bristol.
Harry's finished second at least every race in the country. He used to run second all the time. When you mentioned he ran second that race, that's better than you.
He's under Nemechek. 5th place at stake here. Harry was the bridesmaid so many times, people started sending him garters and things blue and all sorts of stuff. They did.
Well, once he moved up to that other position, he did it a lot of times.
That's right. Tommy Houston on pit road trying to fix some of the damage. It's been a long day for that. Nemechek's got a lot of motor.
He's got a lot of motor, but Harry gets off the corner a little bit better. He closes in. You see right here, he closes up on him.
Nemechek a little high. Gets there.
Got a good run up off the corner under him. If this was the old Dover, Harry would have just passed him 50 foot to the right.
Right.
But since he can't do that, he had to work up under him.
Now just ahead of them at 3rd place, there's Dale Earnhardt all over Terry Labonte. He must have saw the big spot of yellow in his mirror and said, time to go.
I finally got to see what that is. The right rear is touching the quarter panel just a little bit when the car sags.
He's got to worry about the left quarter panel now.
There goes Earnhardt. So Dale Earnhardt moves to 3rd. Labonte to 4th, Gant 5th and closing in. But I don't know, with 25 laps left, if anybody's going to catch Robert Presley.
No, he seems like he can maintain that lead he has. There goes Gantz coming into the pit. Something happened to Harry Gantz's car, and he's turning down pit road.
24 laps to go, and Gant is on pit road. They have nothing for him. They're pointing him to the garage.
Yeah, something happened to the motor, I guess. He's giving it up. He can't complain after yesterday.
No.
Can't complain after yesterday, but we don't know what to say up here because we're not used to seeing him go out at the end of a race.
That's right.
While this was happening, it looks like the lead's tightening up some.
I don't know what happened to the car, but he drove it in. And still driving it up to the pit area.
Yeah, Harry drove the car all the way to the truck. He was running good. Now here's Labonte back at Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon still running, but just up ahead, Labonte and Earnhardt are battling back and forth. At lap 178, they come across side by side. Earnhardt is right there.
Position made.
Ooh, this car got real loose getting down the corner.
That's nothing to Earnhardt. He's used to running like that. He's done it for 20 years.
So Earnhardt makes the pass. He's back in 3rd behind Presley and Jeff Burton. And in about 5 laps, Jeff Gordon there in the #1 car is going to pick up 2 more spots and 6 more points. Quite an effort that crew has made today. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett in their pit.
Guys, this is Keith Simmons, the new crew chief on Jeff Gordon's car. You guys had an awfully fast
Trouble
car.
back straightaway. Earnhardt.
Hang on, we got some trouble. On the racetrack.
Well, we got a bunch of them tied up back over there.
Todd Bodine's in it. Tracy Leslie. What happened?
Well, I tell you, Earnhardt and Labonte were going back and forth, swapping the lead every lap around. We'll just have to go back to replay and see if we caught what happened.
20 laps to go. Earnhardt, Tracy Leslie, and Todd Bodine end up crashing on the back straightaway. While we queue up replays, maybe we get back to Glenn Jarrett there on pit road. Earnhardt's going to climb out. His day's done. All right, here's a look.
Well, he's sideways way back. It looks like he and Terry might have touched just a little bit.
Either that or he might have been loose. You know, we saw him the time before in that corner a little bit loose, but whatever happened, the car's coming around. He's come, that big old banking on the straightaway is going to sweep him right down here on this inside wall. And boy, there's a pack of cars coming behind him also.
The reason I said that, Neil, you know, it was way back in the corner where you see him loose, and they might have just barely touched. It wouldn't be anything anybody meant to do, but he might have, like, happened on the front straightaway. He might have been loose a little bit, backed out, and got tapped just a little bit.
He almost saved that car.
But, yeah.
I don't know.
You can't tell.
Well, it's hard to tell. But he's up there in no man's land right now, and he's going for a ride. See the rear tires turning. He's standing in the gas. Car backing up the wall. He's still got the throttle wide open, trying to keep the car down off the wall. It works better than it brakes at times.
I tell you, who can tell us what happened there. That's Earnhardt. I'd be about the only person that could tell
Right.
you.
Now there's Todd Bodine going up and into the wall. In that big, huge cloud of smoke, he couldn't see what was going on.
Oh, and he gets
Tracy
center flash.
Leslie.
And there's the one car with no bumpers. A good thing he didn't hit anybody.
Look
There's
at
Clifford
that.
Allison coming through.
Dodged another
Clifford
one.
has dodged several bullets today.
Yes, he has. Earnhardt was battling for third at the time of the crash with Terry Labonte. 20 laps to go at that time. We're now way past the record on caution flags for this race. 10 cautions. And the previous record for caution laps, 49. We're over 50 now. Here's the look at the top 10. These cars are on the lead lap. Down through Bill Elliott in 5th. And all the way back to Tracy Leslie in 9th. Clifford Allison is 1 lap down. Harry Gant was running 5th and in a contending, challenging position. Drove his car to pit road and drove it right to the garage area. We'll have another look and see what happened in just a moment here.
He must have hit the camera.
You know, I really can't tell from that angle what happened there. I know he's in serious trouble. I can promise you that. Yeah, look at this group of cars coming. Nemechek leading a bunch of them down through there. Poor Jeff Gordon, he don't have enough car to hit anything.
If he hits him, he's going to hit him with a radiator cap.
Well, certainly where Labonte was, he had to be pulling a lot of air off of Earnhardt's rear spoiler.
Yeah, they were tucked in their tie.
Now, how would this, look at all the carnage we've had, how would this race have been different if the Busch cars, like the Winston Cup cars, had been allowed to use the cambered rear ends?
Boy, I tell you, you hate to say you need to do this, need to do that. Here's this other shot. We're picking it up so late, it's hard to tell what happened. They were so close together. There's 2 people that know when they're riding in that car right there.
Right.
You'll have to get their opinion of it.
There's Dale Earnhardt, Teresa. He is okay after being dropped off by the ambulance coming into the care center. Glenn?
He says he can talk Dale a real strong run to get up front. What happened?
Well, sorry to say, we blistering left rears all day, and tire tore up and was tearing up. I was getting under Terry. I was okay behind him, but I got him in front of him. He got up under me, and it made me loose, and I kept trying to get away from him. Probably should have checked up and got back behind him in the road, but, you know, it's fun off of 2 over there trying to get away from him, but one of them deals, one of them racing deals.
Well, we saw as you passed Terry going into turn 1 to take that position, it looked like your car immediately got awfully loose.
Well, it did. Behind him, I was okay, but I probably should have just rode in 4th, and I knew the tire, I was having a problem with the left rear, and, you know, I should have rode, but I was going for it.
Was the fact that you can't run the cambered rear ends now, was that any part of the problem that's causing the tires to blister?
Well, that's a part of it. It would be better with the camber, but, you know, that's the rule. That's the way it goes.
It's just not your style just to ride back there in 4th place, though, is it?
Not hardly. Just costs us a race car, that's all.
They'll replace it.
That's all. I think Teresa had a longer face on than Dale. She owns that race car.
Yeah, and he was over explaining to her, honey, I just barely bent the car, but here it comes, and she's going to see the results.
Honey, I shrunk the car.
That's right. I tell you what, you know, his buddy and I was trying to speculate. It's hard to say what happens there, but there he said he got the car loose in front of him, and tearing those tires up, you just can't keep them on the ground.
9 lead changes among 7 drivers. 10 caution flags now for 55 laps. Robert Presley has led much of the day here. And as his contenders continue to go by the wayside, Jeff Burton's given him a strong run. I'm not sure we've seen everything Jeff Burton has, or Terry Labonte.
No, and, you know, we've heard the problem with the shifting gears on the restarts. We haven't seen that yet. You know, I can't believe Presley's having much trouble on the starts.
I meant to ask you that before, Neil. Can't you run 3rd gear, synchronize that shift, and drop it into 4th when the clutch is gone?
You can do it probably 80% of the time. I don't know if you'd risk it on this start. At times you'll miss it on that one, you buddy.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't want to do it. I'll tell you, I'd have to lag back and get a run at the flag.
Well, as long as Presley's in front, he can do that. He sets the pace. Glenn?
Well, we started a while ago to present the Miller Genuine Draft Pit Crew Award of the race to these guys. This is Keith Simmons. He is now the acting crew chief for Jeff Gordon. You guys had an awfully strong car. We felt like you should win something. You made a valiant effort to get him back on the racetrack, so therefore we're giving you this award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Glenn. I accept this in behalf of the whole Baby Ruth team. We got a hell of a group of guys here, and we're doing the best we can here with what we got. And we'll get them next week. You know, we're running good. We'll be all right.
Now, at the top of the show, Buddy interviewed Ray Evernham as crew chief for that team. Jeff Gordon, you know, moves over to the Hendrick stable next year, and Evernham will go with him as crew chief. So he's leaving the Bill Davis team to put together his assemblage for next year, and that's why the change in the crew chief position. 15 laps to go. Robert Presley, Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte, Joe Nemechek, Bill Elliott has been right with the pack all day as you ride with Kenny Wallace. And the lap car, Clifford Allison, scoots up to take his place in the outside line. Glenn?
Ricky, so far, all these restarts haven't caused any problems. You think you're going to be able to hang on?
Well, I'm not sure. I hope so. You know, it's 14 laps to go. You know, he's been doing a real good job with the clutch, you know, the way it is. We'll wait and see.
Probably been the longest 60 laps you've ever seen.
It sure has, you know. I hate people's having trouble, you know, crashing, tearing the cars up, but, you know, it's kind of nerve-wracking right now.
Okay. It's about to get nerve-wracking for 13 more laps here.
Now, here's the critical part. There's buildup on these tires, and they can't afford to slide out getting in this corner, staying at the bottom of the racetrack.
Jeff Burton can't quite come up to speed with Robert Presley, and they leave Labonte well back, along with Nemechek. This will be 13 to go this time by. Bill Elliott moving up under Clifford Allison, and Ward Burton is right there, too. Good battle from third on back. You see that little chunk of rubber flip up there coming off one of the tires.
That little speed shot cameras had everything shot at it all day. Race cars, rubber.
Jeff Burton knows it's now or never, so he's going to do everything he possibly can to get, you know, catch up to Preston.
He's been able to hang one car length back and get no closer. That's been about it for Burton. One car length back.
How about a half a car length? I just saw in the last shot there. He was right on the back bumper.
Jeff Burton's headed for only his second top 10 finish of the season. He was 7th at Lanier. Finished 11th here last year. Robert Presley, who won at Darlington, looking to join Harry Gant and Jeff Gordon as two-time winners this season.
Boy, Presley's car right in the bottom. It looks like,
yeah, he's out handling.
Looks like Burton's car gives up a little to him up off the corner, a little pushy maybe off the corner.
And then Terry Labonte only runs a few Busch races. He's running third. He's got a pit crew made up of part of his Winston Cup crew, part of his brother Bobby's Busch crew, and John, no relation to Ernie Irvin, from Dale Jarrett's Busch team. Fourth place is the battle right now. Jeff Gordon has won the Goodies Headache Award. No surprise. Although there are a lot of contenders, and there'll be a few headaches. Bobby Labonte's going to have one.
There's Elliott racing with Nemechek for fourth position.
10 to go. That pack is running about 2.5 seconds behind the leader. And still up front, the gap remains the same, 2 car lengths, but Labonte's coming up into the picture.
That's the guy that's on the move, is Labonte right now.
Yeah, and he always, they call him Nice Man. He makes very few mistakes, so this is going to be a good finish to this race, I think.
Is that Nice Man or Ice Man?
No, not Nice Man.
Right.
He races as hard as anybody, believe
you bet.
me.
9 to go.
Boy, now Presley's car smoked the right front end. It looked like he got in a little bit hot. It's the first time I've seen his car rolling smoke off there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a bump up there and it makes the front end skid a little bit, but throwing a little smoke out of both cars.
There's Bill Elliott. He's finally got the nose up inside Nemechek.
It's over with. That's the position there. When
the tie goes to the man on the inside.
Right. Fourth place goes to Elliott. That's the only Ford amongst the top 5 right now. 7 laps to go.
You don't have to pass here. You just have to get even.
That's it. There is no tie going into that corner.
Well, in second place, Jeff Burton is trying to become the 9th driver to score his first Busch Series career win at Dover. Rick Mass did it, Joe Ruttman, Ricky Rudd, Kenny Schrader, Todd Bodine, Mike Waltrip, Bobby Hillen, and Mark Martin each notched their first series win on this racetrack. Meanwhile, Robert Presley is looking for his 4th career victory. 6 to go.
I tell you, Presley's car stays in the same place. It looks like when Jeff Burton tries to make up time, he actually loses ground.
Seems like on restarts that the 8 car can stay with him, and then the further they run, it seems that the 59 car just keeps on moving away.
Presley's got the right setup for here. He was second last fall to Harry Gant in this race. 4th place. Elliott in fourth, Nemechek in fifth, and Ward Burton coming into the picture in sixth. 5 to go for the leaders, and Presley seems the longer he runs, the better that car likes it. First pack, here's the second group, led by Elliott, the Budweiser car.
There's Clifford Allison right behind him. Clifford hadn't got a lap down. He had been in good shape with this thing today.
There's Terry Labonte in the Sunoco machine. Jeff Burton in the TIC Olds. And up ahead, Robert Presley, the Alliance Olds.
Presley's car right on the bottom, right where it needs to be. That's been the key to him holding off Jeff Burton. Burton's car wouldn't stay quite that low.
A lot of folks feel that Robert Presley will not last another year in Busch racing. Somebody's going to snatch him at the end of the season and put him in a cup car.
I tell you what, if I was looking around, he'd be the guy I'd have to go after.
I think he'd be on anybody's short list right now.
Yeah, he's a pretty good race car driver, a good heady race car driver, and he comes from a racing family. His father was quite a good driver also.
And Bob Presley was quite a standout in that car in the late model sportsman division. 2 laps to go.
Pretty good lead with 2 to go. He could kind of give him up a little bit of ground each lap. Still have it.
There's Labonte in third. The Gwaltney's car, Ward Burton, was catching fifth place Joe Nemechek, but has now dropped back a bit. A couple of great racing families represented right here with Ricky Pearson, David's son, as crew chief, and Bob Presley's son, Robert, the driver. The white flag is waved over Robert Presley, Jeff Burton, and Terry Labonte. Last lap. Fourth place, still Bill Elliott, Joe Nemechek in fifth, Ward Burton in sixth. Into turn 3. And now, rounding out of turn 4 to take his 4th career Busch Grand National victory, Robert Presley wins the Goodwrench Delco Batteries 200.
Oh, boy, you talk about a smiling face now. He'll have one. This guy enjoys winning.
So Presley gets the checker. Jeff Burton finishes second. And Robert Presley will move to second in the point standing. We'll speak with him after we take this break. Dover down Delaware. There's your top 5 unofficially. GM Goodwrench Delco 200 has been brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. And by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold.
A beaming Robert Presley sits in victory lane. What a clutch, or maybe I should say non-clutch performance. That had to be nerve-wracking.
No, I tell you, it was real good. You know, the car worked good from the first lap on. We just kind of rode around, got in position there the last 100 laps. And just, you know, whenever we got in front, we just kind of got us a little lead and just tried to sit there in case, you know, we had a little trouble where we'd have a little cushion.
Well, it didn't look like you were having too much problems. Even though the clutch wasn't working on those restarts, you still managed to take off and leave them every time.
Yeah, Ricky, he kept reminding me, you know, he said, be easy on them gears. Don't jerk them shifters out of here, you know, just be easy. But, you know, it was going in gear easy. The clutch didn't hurt us anything but on restarts, you know, on pit stops. So, you know, that wasn't really a problem.
Okay, thanks and congratulations, Robert. Mike?
He looks like he can run another 200 laps, and let's go at it. Robert Presley, the winner. Jeff Burton, second. Presley moves to second in the Busch points behind Kenny Wallace. Terry Labonte is third. Bill Elliott fourth, and Joe Nemechek fifth. Ward Burton got sixth. Butch Miller hung on for seventh. Todd Bodine eighth today. And a lap down, Clifford Allison was ninth. And Tracy Leslie 10th. For Neil Bonnet, Buddy Baker, and Glenn Jarrett, Mike Joy congratulating Robert Presley on his 4th career Busch Grand National victory.